Good afternoon and namaskar to all of you present over here. And once again, a very warm welcome to the 4th National Community Radio Sammelan. Those who are attending the Sammelan for the last few years, they know that when we used to meet in Vigyan Bhavan, it used to be in a smaller hall, isn't it? In hall number 4, which is outside. And now we have gradually shifted to a bigger hall because we are growing and increasing in numbers. Today in India, we have 160 operating stations, and I think the way we are increasing in numbers, we soon will have to shift in the plenary hall of Vigyan Bhavan. But that will be really a fantastic day today, like it is, it will be a fantastic day like it is today. And we would like to wait for that day to come. But we are very hopeful that it will not take that long. It should happen very soon. But let me also mention here that it is not only in terms of the numbers of community radio stations that the sector has grown, but the sector has also grown tremendously in its diversity, in reaching the unreached areas and producing outstanding content and reaching out to millions of marginalized communities. I have the firm belief that CR stations are bringing a very, very important but a silent revolution in India by working upon several critical areas like health, education, and empowerment, and also acting as an important repository of the rich cultural heritage of our country. So on the occasion of the inauguration of 4th edition of the National Community Radio Sammelan, once again, a very warm welcome to all of you. Now, on your behalf, let me welcome our Secretary, Bimal Julka sir, who has found time to be with us today. Thank you, sir, for all the support and encouragement you have given to us in the last few months that you have been here in this ministry. And your commitment is already evident, as we wouldn't be here today if you had not granted such speedy approvals to us to organize so many and to take so many initiatives in the past. So a very warm welcome to you. A very warm and hearty welcome to our Additional Secretary, Shri J.S. Mathur, sir. And in the ministry, we always wonder as to how he could be so cool and composed when we are running in the corridors of the ministry thinking that our world is crashing down as this approval has not come or that approval has not come. But when we go to him, it's like he's like a balm. He's so soothing and so cooling. And sir, your passion to the sector is really, really something that we should all be inspired with, and I would like to really extend a very, very warm welcome to you to this session. A very warm welcome to you, Rajiv, for smiling through all the requirements of putting together such a massive Sammelan like this, starting from the matchbox to light the kutubilak or the lamp that we say, to organizing the compendium and everything. You have really done it very well. Thank you very much, for being here today. But overall, and above all, let me salute the passion, commitment, and the spirit of service in the hearts of all the representatives of community radio stations who have come here today to be with us. And on this occasion, let us make a commitment and let us decide that this passion and fire will continue to burn in our hearts for our country, because it is only this fire which will bring the social change, as we can see on the backdrop here, that we actually want to see in our country. I would like to extend a very warm welcome, therefore, to all the representatives of community radio stations who have come over here today. Thank you, and a warm welcome to our friends from SEMCA, UNESCO, UNICEF, Ford Foundation, Community Radio Forum, Community Radio Association, our media experts, and people who have been working in the sector for a very long time. A warm welcome to all our moderators, group leaders, reporters. And a big thank you and welcome to all our senior officers from the ministry, from Doordarshan. I can see so many of them here, and I'm really grateful that they all found time to be present with us on this occasion. And it only goes to show how much you love and you support this sector. So welcome to everybody from All India Radio, Doordarshan, our joint secretaries, everybody from the ministry. And once again, welcome to all of you to this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sahu. No doubt, community radio is definitely a powerful tool for amplifying the voices of everyday people. May I now request all the dignitaries to light the lamp and declare the fourth community radio Sammelan open. Thank you very much. I now call upon Shri J.S. Mathur, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, to deliver the keynote address.
It's a bit too high. Secretary, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Shri Bimal Julka ji. Joint Secretary in the Ministry, Supriya Sahu, Anurag Srivastav, Abha, and all other representatives from the ministry here. And as Supriya said, a big thank you also for the large contingent from Prasar Bharati. We are very happy that all of you have made it here. Our other media units, our representatives from the multilateral agencies, and all of you are invitees here from the world of community radio. I don't need to reiterate that community radio is a critical communication tool in communities which are remote and an extraordinary and invisible medium to give voice to the voiceless, as it provides an opportunity to the communities to speak about the issues concerning their lives. In fact, apart from the various other benefits that community radio entails, and which I'm very sure, and I think you have also spoken of in the first session this morning, one area that I have found is really of immense value and very often underscored is the significant purpose that is served by community radios to preserve our unique cultural heritage by making community radios as repositories of local folk songs and folklore. In fact, this is an area, and I'm very happy to know that of late, Prasar Bharati, All India Radio in particular, have also been making an effort in this direction. And probably, as was discussed in this parallel session that is going on of the Sectoral Innovation Council, where a synergy between community radio and the television is also envisaged. These are areas where there can be a lot of sharing, a lot of preservation, and an area where we can actually look at, a lot of this musical folklore tradition, which is basically dying out in many parts of our regions. Of course, we have knowledge that many of the CR stations have recorded and preserved local songs for posterity, and communities have access to this rich heritage. They have also started creating new local celebrities by broadcasting their songs and concerts not the Bollywood ones, but the local ones. And local artists have found a new platform to showcase their talent to the community they belong to. This is something which otherwise is very difficult, looking to the fact that whether these are national radios, FM radios, going into particular sub-sectoral cultural heritage is a very daunting task for them. And I compliment all those CR stations that have already created a rich library of these songs and continue to play them much to the delight of the local audience. These are things which are in a sad shape otherwise due to lack of patronage and support. And community radios, it's, I think, really wonderful that have emerged as saviors of this musical tradition and given a lease of life to these dying arts. And I hope that in the days to come, there would be more of an exchange between the community radio people who have been preserving and forwarding this heritage and our very own Prasar Bharati, so that these can really be there for posterity. The unique position of CRS also as an instrument of positive social change for community empowerment is again something that we really are very, very much enthusiastic about as to how voice can be given to people in various parts of the country. In the last couple of years, and in fact, it's not been a couple of years since I joined the ministry, but much less than that. But the efforts that have been put in by the ministry from, I think, this entire wing has seen a radical transformation that has been brought about in the existing program, leading to a spurt in the growth of the community radio movement in India. The approach that is being taken now, and I'm sure most of you will agree to that, is of the government being a facilitator rather than merely a licensor or regulator for this movement. This important shift has catalyzed the growth of community radios in India, leading to issue of permissions for a large number of CR stations. I believe now it's, the running ones are 141, permissions granted are many more, within a short span of this last 1.5 to 2 years. The ministry has taken several initiatives in this. I'll just reiterate them, like simplification of the application methodology, improved transparency in processing of applications, quickening the pace of approvals through better coordination, enhanced awareness generation, capacity building of the applicants through awareness workshops, enhanced synergy between stakeholders and involvement of the government ministries and departments in CR broadcast. There are, of course, still many issues that are still facing the community radio movement in India, and we are trying to look at it. In fact, Supriya has just mentioned, and I'm very sure most of you have become aware that in the last 1 year, less than that, the Secretary himself has been taking a lot of interest. In fact, it's very heartening to note that community radio, which for many people does not hold, I'm sorry to say, too much of a significance, he has been always there for the community radio movement, and appears, I think he has developed a passion for this in the last few months, which have really enabled a lot of things to happen. These particular constraints that are still there, on which the ministry is trying to work upon, I'm very sure in the days to come, we'll also be able to tackle many of these issues, plus the issues that come up from this Sammelan here for these 3 days. I would, on my personal behalf, also try to assure you that in the coming years, we would be working to overcome these challenges. My only request to you would be that please carry on as you have been carrying on. Show your commitment, show your passion, and I'm very sure that this flame of community radio movement in the country, which is not as widespread across the country as we would want it to, would really take the shape that it is intended to and become a major force in the country that we'll be seeing. Thank you so much.
We all agree, sir, that the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has definitely been playing the role of a facilitator, and we are grateful for that. We will now release the compendium, the Community Radio Compendium and the Community Radio Map. Just a little bit about the Community Radio Compendium. The Community Radio Compendium has been instrumental in documenting unique stories from the community radio sector. It is a repository of stories which represent the diversity that the sector encompasses. It also gives us the glimpses of the contextual realities of each station. I now request Mr. Vimal Julka to release the Community Radio Compendium for this year. I would also request Mr. Mathur to release the Community Radio Map, which identifies all the community radio stations in the country. Sir? So the map represents all of us. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. I think now we've come to the most exciting part of the ceremony, that is the National CR Awards. I am sure everyone's holding their breaths. Your heart must be beating very fast. So just to give you a little brief about the Community Radio Awards first. The National Community Radio Awards were instituted by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting in 2012 to promote quality programming in community radio stations. The awards were given in 5 categories, namely the most creative, innovative program content, thematic focus, community engagement, promoting local culture, and the sustainability model. Entries for the National CR Awards 2013-14 were invited from operational community radio stations by Jan 31st. And we received a total of 131 entries from 68 community radio stations. An independent jury of peer was constituted. So, to begin with, we will start with the Most Creative Innovative Program Content Award, but may I request Shri Bimal Julka to kindly give away the awards. Yeah. So the Most Creative Innovative Program Content Award, unfortunately we don't have a third prize, but the second prize goes to Community Radio JU by Jadavpur University, West Bengal, for its program Suno Teke Suru. This is a radio mathematics project that's done in the most creative format. The Maharashtra is if Yaralavani is not there, may I request one of the Maharashtra peer stations to receive an award on their behalf. Please, Ajay. The program is for changes in cropping and agricultural practices. The next category of awards is in the thematic category, basically given to community radio station which create programs that are relevant to the community, addressing any issues pertaining to the need or interest of the community. And the third place in this category goes to Radio Madhuban for its program Guru Hasan Se Singhasan. The second place goes to Kumovani by Terry for the program Bazar Laye Bochar. Kumovani is not there. Kumovani. Can we have it? And the first place goes to Anna Community Radio for its program Putoli. This is a program which was made by Jamila on transgenders. The next category of awards is the Community Engagement Awards. The award is given to the community radio stations which engage community in the planning, content, production and broadcast of programs. The third place in this category goes to Pantnagar Janwani, run by GB Pant University for its program Gaon Ki Baat. If GB Pant is not there, may I request? Okay, they're there. The second place in the community engagement category goes to Radio Vishnu for its program Vijaya Padam. And the first place in this category goes to Sayare Jo Radio for the program Khaso Sahasu. Sayare is from Gujarat. The next category is Promoting Local Culture Award. This award goes to the community radio stations that incorporate best local talent and tradition in its programming. And accordingly, the third place in this category goes to Radio Sarang, run by St. Aloysius College, Mangalore, Karnataka, for its program Dudi Nalika Kunita. Since Sarang is not here, may I please request another peer station from Karnataka to receive the award on its behalf. Any station from Karnataka can release, okay. Mr. Shyam Bhatt from Manipal University will receive the award. The second place in this category goes to Radio Kisan, run by the Association for Integrated Development Odisha for its program Ama Kala Ama Sanskriti. And the first place goes to Voice of SOA Community, run by Shiksha O Anusandan University, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, for its program Kandai Katha. And now we come to the Sustainability Model Award, which most of them are eagerly waiting to know who would receive it this year. The jury had a tough time deciding on the sustainability parameters. I'm sure there is a session on sustainability a little later on, but it was decided that there will be only one award given in this category. And the award goes to Radio Media Village, St. Joseph College of Communication, Kerala. Okay, the jury also specially considered the entries submitted by Radio Sanskar Odisha and Desh Bhagat Radio Punjab. The jury is of the unanimous opinion that considering the role played during the Falun and the 100 hours campaign against use of drugs respectively, they deserve special appreciation and may be considered for special jury award without any monetary involvement. So may I please request Radio Sanskar and Desh Bhagat Radio to please come up to the stage. Desh Bhagat Radio. Just to mention that based on the suggestions received last year about the jury members to be constituted, peer jury be constituted, there was an independent jury of peers constituted to screen the awards, which was headed by Shri B. Brahma, Economic Advisor in the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. And the other members of the jury included myself, that is Pinky Chandran from Radioactive, Kandarpa Das, Radio Luit from Guwahati, Ms. Archana Kapoor, Radio Mewar, Brahma Prakash from Radio Noida, and Mr. P.K. Shivas, ADG, AIR, Trivandrum. Thank you, sir, for giving away the awards. Thank you, ma'am. Well, that's not the end of it all. We would also now like to acknowledge all organizations who've supported the CR movement in what it is today. This has been a journey which we have all taken together, and we would like to thank each and every organization for the role that they have played, and we hope that this will continue and strengthen the movement. So may I now request Shri Vimal Jurka to please give away the mementos to some of the organizations who've been working in building up this movement. May I now request Dr. Sanjaya Mishra from SEMCA to please come on the stage and receive the momentum. Please. Mr. Kandarpa Das from the Community Radio Association. Mr. Ramakrishna from Community Radio Forum. Dr. Ravina Agarwal from Ford Foundation. Mr. Rajiv Tikku from One World Foundation. We are going alphabetically in thanking the organizations. Mr. Paulo, I'm so sorry about the pronunciation. Paulo from UNICEF. I'm really sorry about this. Yeah. And last but not the least, Ms. Iskra Panaviska from UNESCO. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, ma'am. We would now like to request Shri Bimal.
Good morning, everyone. Respected colleague on the dais, Mr. Jiten Mathur, Additional Secretary, respected Supriya Sahuji, Shri Rajiv Tikku, Director, One World Foundation, all our colleagues from the Ministry of Information Broadcasting, all our media heads, and special reference to Mr. Parmeshwaran, Mr. Murli from Planning Commission, and especially our Internal Finance Division, which has been the key driver in the growth of this community radio sector. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed a matter of great privilege and pride to be present at this momentous occasion for the inauguration of the 4th National Community Radio Sammelan. I have always held the view that we don't need to go to Harvard, Stephens, Wharton, or Columbia to be innovators or creators, because this talent lies within us and within the system. I think each one present in this hall is a great leader on their own, and we value your leadership. As far as Ministry of Information and Broadcasting is concerned, whether it's been the film sector or the broadcasting sector or the information sector, we have always felt that we should create an enabling environment, act as a facilitator, provide a platform, unshackle the regulations, and bring to the fore the areas of operation which you and I should get engaged in. Access to information for vulnerable groups in the rural areas in a country like ours is extremely critical. If poor are on the wrong side of the digital divide, there is every possibility that they would be further marginalized. It is therefore essential that we bring in place instruments that pave the way for empowering community voices. In my view, community radio is one of the most important mediums of communication which is deeply associated with daily lives of people in India. I am reminded of my first posting as subdivisional magistrate, straight from Delhi University, to a remote area in Guna district of Madhya Pradesh, the central India. It was a small subdivision. Now, of course, over a period of time, it has become a district. When we used to travel to the rural areas, I can tell you frankly that I had never seen what a village looks like, what a villager looks like. And that was my first exposure when I went around and saw how the villages and the communities, they get together and integrate themselves, synergize their efforts, and progress in various aspects of community living. I am reminded of the example of Chanderi, which was a small tehsil in my area, where the weavers were facing problems. They didn't know how to market their products, and they were getting exploited by the middlemen. That was the time that the administration got into the picture. We tried to interact with multilateral agencies, with the big industrialists in the country, and provide a platform for creation of that market. That is the role of the administration and the administrative machinery. Emerging community in communication would definitely help to bridge the digital divide. It will also go a long way in ensuring the participation of rural and urban communities in decision making so that they can become informed and empowered citizens and participate in the development programs. If we have to move towards social inclusion and removal of inequality, we have to move towards providing access to information to people and empower their voices. The communities in our rural areas have a wealth of knowledge, traditional cultural resources, which may be lost with the advent of modern technology. Culture and history do play a very important and vital role in the social development of the country, and therefore we need to preserve it. In the last few years, there has been a remarkable growth in the community radio sector in India. What is heartening to note is that there is an encouraging degree of partnership and collaboration amongst different players in India to facilitate the growth of this crucial and critical sector. I am happy to see that the Sammelan shall deliberate on important issues concerning sustainability of community radio stations, community-based disaster reduction, participatory content creation, community mobilization, and peer review, etc., which are all very important subjects for discussion. It is also happy to note that the compendium brought out by the ministry containing various details of community radio stations is a useful tool for our further discussion. I am sure this compendium will be an excellent reference point for policymakers, district authorities, and CR practitioners. I am very new to this sector of community radio, but definitely convinced, and it's my firm conviction, that this can be an instrument for positive social change. We have identified community radios as a thrust area in this ministry. I am happy to inform that in the 12th plan, with the help of a planning commission, with the help of the finance ministry, and all the stakeholders, we have been able to get allocation of roughly about 100 crores for this program, out of which 90 crores will be for capacity building, infrastructure creation, etc. I think we have already issued an advertisement in this regard, which you must have seen in the newspapers, seeking applications for the same. I would like to assure you that we shall maintain highest levels of transparency, professionalism in processing all these requests for grant of assistance. I am hopeful that the community radio scheme will go a long way in nurturing the community radio sector. A number of initiatives that have already been taken in the recent past are beginning to yield results. But it is a dynamic and an ongoing process. We can never say that we have reached the pinnacle of success. Success comes on our day-to-day deliberations, on our day-to-day discussions, with the experience which each one of you would share with us and tell us the way forward, because it is a participatory and collaborative effort. In the recent past, in the screening committee, we were happy to note that there were applications from some of the most backward regions and Naxal-affected areas of Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh, which have now been granted. We wish them good luck, and we hope that they will do exceedingly well in organizing themselves. I am deeply concerned about the complex procedure for obtaining permission to set up a community radio stations. I think it goes from one clearance to another clearance, and it's a very long and arduous process. I have been discussing with Supriya that as a government, as a regulator, I think we need to streamline the system, because innovation cannot come without ease. It should be accessible, we should be amenable, and we should make things easy for the community radio stations so that they can come freely and work and operate in this sector. This is an area which the government definitely will look into, and hopefully we should be able to streamline these procedures. The modified CR policy is already on its way. We would work with you in putting together a policy that will take care of various challenges. We have embarked on the peer review process. This is a novel experience, and I am sure that by way of participatory evaluation and monitoring, we shall definitely achieve better results. While we would leave no stone unturned to ensure that the sector reaches a very high trajectory of growth, a lot of burden lies on each one of you who are engaged in this community radio activity. The responsibility is collective. You also need to see that the content which is displayed, which is broadcast, takes care of the social interests, the developmental goals of the region or the community that you serve. I request all of you to set for yourself a code of self-regulation, a code of ethics to be followed by each of the community radio stations. Self-regulation is a panacea for ensuring that there is a shared responsibility and accountability at each level. I would take this opportunity to acknowledge the role of various organizations working in the field of community radio, all our international agencies, various ministries, departments of the government who have worked closely to strengthen this movement in the country. And last but not the least, let me convey my special compliments to Supriya, who has been the Joint Secretary steering this entire community radio movement in the ministry. And I am sure that with all our collective efforts, we shall be able to succeed in this direction. I congratulate the award winners, and I congratulate all of you for sparing your valuable time to be present with us. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Deliberations and continuous discussion are definitely a way forward in strengthening the community radio movement, and we are glad that the ministry has such an open door policy where there is constantly debates about any new things that you propose. And we assure you as CR operators that we believe that the license is our responsibility, and it is our responsibility to be true as custodians of the license. And lastly, no doubt, the CR Sammelan is about us and it is for us. And with this, I would like Mr. Rajiv Tikku to deliver the vote of thanks. Thank you.
It's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks today. Shri Bimal Julka ji, Secretary, Ministry of I&B. Sir, we are grateful to you for inaugurating the conference and releasing the compendium and presenting the awards. Sir, thank you very much. It was very heartening to listen to you, underlining the role of CR in pursuing development and social change, and reiterating your unstinted support to this sector. Sir, thank you very much. I'm also grateful to see J.S. Mathurji, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, for being here with us today and joining us. Sir, thank you very much for joining us today, and for your understanding and support to the sector. I'm also grateful to Madam Supriya Sahu, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, for her kind words and reposing trust in One World and leading from the front. The Sammelan would not have been possible without her. That's the least one can say. And we are also thankful to the CR cell at the Ministry, which has been always there to support us in taking this initiative forward. Our thanks are also due to Prasar Bharati, Planning Commission, DOP, DG Doordarshan, DG AR, DG News AR, DG News DD, Field and Publicity Division, Song and Drama Division, Employment News, TRI, Ministry officials, and officials from AIR and DD who have been with us all through, directly or indirectly. Finally, I'm also thankful to media and press for supporting us. My thanks also go out to our friends in CRA and CRF who have been instrumental in shaping up the agenda of this conference and taking it to this level. And most importantly, I'm thankful to all the CR participants who have come from all over the country to join us today and help us make the Sammelan a success. And lastly, I'm grateful to my team at One World for making this happen actually. They have risen to the occasion and I'm thankful to them for doing what they have done today. Thank you all.